A very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Such a pleasure to have you on board. My name is Evans Okinyi, and as I always say, I'm glad to bring you up to date with comprehensive analysis of all that is taking place in this country and across our borders. This fine afternoon, I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
Good. A little down with a cold, but good.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see your voice is somehow rusty, but
Yeah.
you're up to the task.
Yes.
Anyway, let's have this conversation here. The last time I had a conversation with you about the potential ouster of the agriculture CS, Mythical Linturi, you said, in the first place, you said that we do not have a CS in charge of agriculture in this country. And of course, you also said that the deal was as good as done. For you, he was already home. But things have changed. Things have changed all of a sudden. And I wonder the kind of feeling that you have, or rather your reaction to how things have changed. What do you think might have gone wrong? What is it that is not happening that we may not know?
I think on some show, after we talked, I was on some show on this platform, I think with Jad or Richard. Mm-hmm. And I said that the direction things were taking, Linturi will be off the hook. Mm-hmm. I actually mentioned that I had been talking to a top Kenya Kwanza house leader who told me how they were playing it and that Linturi was going nowhere. Nahomicha is going nowhere. So I already knew that would happen. So there's nothing new.
No, let us get to the politics side
Yes.
of it. I want us to focus on the political implications of this particular decision, leave alone the governance issues. Of course, people will have that. The last time you said that Rigathi Gachagua, the deputy president,
Yes.
had the best chance here of redeeming himself as the Kikuyu leader. And actually, at least for this time around, they would have something as the central region people to bargain with. Do you think that they would count this as a loss to them?
Gachagua. Yeah, if this thing doesn't work, then Gachagua will have lost something.
Of course, it has not worked because as we are having this conversation already, the agriculture CS, Mythical Linturi, is off the hook. But then the last time you told me that if at all he would be taken, he would actually be impeached, then Rigathi Gachagua and the rest of Mount Kenya leaders would have a chance to bring in somebody who would actually deliver.
To call the shots.
Yes.
In other words, what I was trying to say was that he would use the ouster of Linturi to now sit with the president and determine who from the region becomes a minister.
Okay.
Going forward, starting with the Linturi slot. That's what I meant.
Okay, yes.
And it was because of that I was saying it was in the political interest of Rigathi Gachagua to be supportive of those who wanted to remove Linturi, though underground, quietly. That's how politics is played. So somehow maybe he didn't work hard enough. Because I don't know how these things work.
Where do you think Rigathi Gachagua'S position would be when it comes to the impeachment of Mythical Linturi?
Obviously, he will know how it is. It will be in his interest to have a new slate of leaders in Mount Kenya, and because Linturi is not beholden to him, he's not answerable to him. In fact, he sees himself as an equal to Rigathi Gachagua. Sometimes he may even think he's better. So naturally, for Rigathi Gachagua, people like Linturi should have gone home. He would be happy if they went. Yeah.
So is this a loss or a win to Gachagua?
Yes. Generally speaking, he would not be a happy man.
Okay.
To be a loss to him. Yes.
So loss to Rigathi Gachagua, is here saying that maybe Linturi, Mythical Linturi sees Gachagua as maybe more or less in the same political kind of standard position.
But not even that. You see, for Gachagua, he's in a very tough position. The people who are feeling the pain of the mess more than anybody else are people from Mount Kenya region. If you mess with agriculture, it is they who feel the pain most. If you come up with harsh taxation measures, it is Mount Kenya people who feel the most. So that puts Rigathi Gachagua in a very awkward position. Yes, very awkward position. He must fight for his people and yet keep his friendship with the boss. You see, He cannot be seen to be fighting Linturi because Linturi is close buddies with the boss. You get it? And yet he knows if Linturi went down, the people of Mount Kenya will be happy, the farmers. Yeah.
There are certain people who believe that the game was rigged from the onset, even from the Parliament's decision to select this particular committee of members who would actually do this.
Yes.
And they were saying that it was skillfully selected in that there isn't any way in which Linturi would actually be ousted from that particular portfolio therein. But we are also seeing issues of people saying that if at all he's been saved, of course he's been declared. I saw the papers writing that he's as clean as cotton, so to say, or as white as cotton. But then that is aside. So in this case, who would have actually a say in this? Could it be somebody from above, or rather directly talking? Of course, we know that the president is very influential still in Mount Kenya region. But of course, the deputy president is also there. So in this case, do you then believe that maybe the president would have come through for Linturi?
Let's put it this way, because we don't know, we're just talking. The mess Linturi is involved in is so great that left to deal with this case on their own, MPs will send him home yesterday.
Okay.
So the fact that that has not happened, at least so far, shows there's a bigger hand behind it. MPs will certainly, all of them, with disregard to what party they come from, they will send Linturi home. He's a personification of the entire mess in this
that's
country.
why I was saying let's keep the governance issues aside.
Yes,
because this is purely political now, what we're witnessing here.
So what I'm saying is, if they were just to decide purely on the basis of what this guy has done or failed to do, the mess he's put the country into, they will certainly just vote him out. All of them will send him home. Actually, it will look crazy for somebody to try and support him. So normally, let us say you have 300 MPs, for example. I think they're around 349. 349, I think, yeah? Let's say 200 MPs stand up in the House. If there was no influence, I can see 185 sending him home. Then the remaining 15 will be either his friends or so, or people he has influenced, something like that. And among those who have not come to deny the House the quorum of 175, whatever the required number, will be people he has influenced personally as a person. Either they are friends or he has a way of talking to them. But the overwhelming majority of MPs will vote him out. The only way they will not vote him out, the only time they won't vote him out, is if there is a higher person, a stronger, invisible hand directing their action. And therefore, I would not be surprised if the president was part of the game.
No, there's certain people, because definitely the president has got even the powers to sack the CES, or rather perhaps reshuffle and do all that, because definitely he's the employer. In this case here, looking at how the political heat in the country is moving, somebody would actually ask now, there's certain people who believe that this was some sort of a political test to President Ruto, especially when it comes to the kind of influence that he's got in the vote-rich Mount Kenya region. Would you then say that he has actually failed, or rather won in this kind of test, that as he passed the test that was given to it?
I think this is not a test to the president, least of all Mount Kenya, whatever. This is a test to Kenyans.
Okay.
It is one simple question that has been put to the country. And the entire country has failed the exam. The question has been this: are you happy the way you are as a country? Do you want to continue living the lives you are living? In short, the people of Kenya are being asked, are you content, are you happy remaining a poor, dirty third world country, where there's high mortality, child mortality, on the basis of things like you can just deal with? People dying from diseases that stopped bothering the world 200 years ago. Some slight rainfall and Kenyans are being swept off like antelopes crossing the river. Are you happy that 80% of Nairobi cannot access clean water, piped water? Don't even have access to a toilet. Is that the house? Is that the country you want? Are you happy that in the 21st century, your country called Kenya, given to you by your God, with all the beautiful things in the country, are you happy that thousands, hundreds of thousands of Kenyan children have Jiga-infested toes and go to school barefoot? Are you happy that in an overwhelming majority of primary schools in this country, where millions of children go, some don't have toilets? And those who have toilets, if you go there, you just run away. Maggots all over. And the hundreds of school children are going in that particular. If you are happy with that, then we have passed the exam. It seems we are happy. We are happy remaining a poor third world country. Because Mithika Linturi, his PA or his office, I'm sure they're already organizing a safari for him to go to some country. If you go to Parliament, the Parliament that is getting Mithika off the hook, MPs are lined up for overseas travel. They are very happy, smiling like sheep, boarding planes and taking selfies in other people's capitals and countries, because those countries are clean. Those countries cannot have a minister like that. They can't. So if we are happy being what we are, it's okay. And I've told Kenya, the choice is so simple. If you want to remain like this, continue. Serious countries. A man like Mithika Linturi cannot be a minister. You cannot stand before the world and say, I'm a president of a country, and in your cabinet you have somebody like Mithika. No, nobody can take you serious, no. These people, I have told people, they say, Manyora, you are too harsh. I've told people, when we go outside there, as Kenyans, these people just talk to us because they're exploiting us. But if there's nothing they were getting from us, they will just slap us and tell us, you are an animal, get out of our country. Go back to your country. They just tolerate our leaders because they exploit our countries, we in Africa. If it wasn't for the exploitation, no African leader will go to Europe in a suit. They will just slap him and tell him, go back to your country. You are an animal. You can't come here in a suit with a watch of 15 million shillings. $10,000. And your people can't even have access to a toilet in Nairobi town. Go away. You are not a human being. So, for Mithika Linturi, if he gets off the hook, like he's telling me, yes, congratulations to him. Congratulations to us. But it is an indictment on the people of the Republic of Kenya. You continue like this until not very long from now, you are going to have millions of young people, men and women with college education, without a job. Already they are there. They are in the millions, without a job, without hope, without future. Is that right? Crime is going to get so high in this country. Crime is already high in this country. In the countryside, if you go even to Kiambu, there are many beautiful homes, people don't sleep in them. They stay in Nairobi, because Nairobi is relatively safer. If we continue on this trajectory, in another 10 or so years, in fact, earlier than 10 years, shorter than 10 years, this place is going to be worse than Johannesburg. Let me tell you, in Johannesburg, there are many parts, people just do things to you in the streets, including raping you. In the streets, daylight. And then they have better police than ours. The police are better equipped. This country with a few police, not sufficient number of police, poorly trained, poorly paid policemen, poorly motivated. The crime is soaring, and on the other side, the factors that should contain crime are even going down. We don't have sufficient, because the police are not increasing in number to correspond with the population. Nothing is being done to equip the police with modern equipment and modern training. Nothing is being done to pay the police well and make them live like human beings. And we are building an army of unemployed Kenyans, okay? With no hope for the future and with an education. And then you have ministers like Linturi remaining in power. In another 10 years, there will be no country here. The people who are celebrating this thing will be regretting. They will say, I wish we listened to people like Manyora. Yeah. This country will just burst. Even 10 years are too many. You'll see what will happen. You are young. People just burst and go into the streets and begin beating everybody else. Yeah.
Back to Kenyan siasa here.
Yes.
My question would be, as I started asking this question, I think I told you very well that, of course, I intimated the fact that the president here is the boss.
Yes.
That is Ruto. Look at the political cards on the table. One, the other time when we had this conversation, I asked you, would is it really easy for Mythical Linturi to be impeached? You said, well, if the president, of course, if Ruto agrees and definitely the deputy president Gachagua'S agrees,
yes,
that he's committed crime or whatever, that he's supposed to be impeached. If they agree, then politically he'll be impeached.
So
now that has come to pass here. He's not been impeached. Now my question would be, the other time I asked, do you think there would be political consequences of William Ruto letting his own CS be impeached?
If he let him be impeached?
Yeah, I asked about the consequences of letting him.
You know, we are a tribal country, and people will say on the basis of ethnicity, or our person has been targeted.
And that is actually the word on the ground, even from the leaders from Meru County, of course, you are hearing them.
But for two reasons, that is not that shouldn't have bothered the president, assuming it bothered him. For two reasons. One, Linturi isn't that important.
Do you think he believes so?
He isn't that important in the matrix of Mount Kenya politics. He's important, but not that important. And number two, the mess he's associated with, he will not get very many sympathizers, even those from his place. You know, Kenyans are opening their eyes. People know this guy has messed. So there will be sympathizers from his home, but not enough to worry the president. And then remember, I also said, if you remove the Linturi, then you get another Meru. So that kind of balances it off. Yeah, the damage becomes less, if any. Yeah, so I don't think the president would have been worried about that. Yeah.
But here we have people are saying that the high chances that he might have had some sort of a hand in this.
Who?
Why would you think he would go ahead to save him, if at all he had some sort of a hand?
Hand in him?
In saving Linturi here.
I don't get your question well.
My question is this. You've said here that him ensuring that Linturi would have been impeached would not actually have some sort of political consequences.
It wasn't a very big, there wasn't going to be a very big problem to him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, so that would mean that maybe the president would have just let things flow, and then naturally we would have Linturi impeached. But that is not the case. Why?
Either he overrated Linturi, or there are many things people are saying which we can't say here, because we are civilized people. And we are talking about our president of our country, or the friendship was just too much. Maybe they are such a great buddies that you won't allow your guy to sink. But I'll tell you what, the leadership of this country, and by leadership I don't mean Kenya Kwanza, I don't mean Jubilee, I just mean people who are in a position of responsibility at whatever level across the country, across the sectors, across whether in government or business leadership. I want to give them my honest appeal, my very sincere appeal. You are pushing people to the wall. It has never worked the way they think it can work in history. When you push people to the wall the way the leadership of this country, and the leadership I'm wanting to repeat, is not the president, is not MPs alone. It is anybody in a position of leadership, whether in church, in business, in politics, in government. You are pushing the people of this country to the wall. Your own dog that you are brought up from the time it was a puppy and fed it, you push it to the wall, it will come for you. The people of this country are being pushed to the wall. The contempt the leadership is showing the people of this country. When Parliament goes out of its way to save somebody like Linturi, what are they doing? Parliament is telling Kenyans, you are useless people. Nyinyi ni takataka, tutawakanyaga bila tunataka. Bure nyinyi, you are nothing. This is our country, you have no role in this country. This is what they are telling people. And I want to tell them, and this is coming from my heart, inside me. They will live to regret. I can see these things happening. I'm not a prophet, but I can see people saying no very soon.
Okay.
People say no. And the day the people of this country will say no. Wacha hivi vitu Raila anaita watu maandamano anaambia stop, let's go back home. I've said the day the people will say no, without being told by Raila or Ruto or somebody else, the people themselves, they say, you have shown us enough contempt. That day will be a sad day for the leadership of this country in terms of anybody who matters in this country. And I've advised them for free. I've written about it. I've said on TV, I've said on this channel, I've said in many forums, that day you'll regret that you are this stupid. Because certain things that are so obvious, you do not try to challenge them. You let them pass. Yeah.
Okay.
So the people expected at least Parliament will lose something to show they understand that some government officials are directly responsible for their suffering. Yes.
Do you believe, perhaps, if at all, the conversation that we've been having here is somehow true, and it all came down to the last man, of course, that is the president of the country? Do you believe that he was politically correct in this?
Politically?
Correct.
How?
Whatever decision that may be, we do not know, but then we are saying,
You
if
know,
at all it came down to him, is he politically correct?
You know, in the politics, whenever you make a decision, you think it is correct. Until it comes to haunt you. But there's something small in history. History does not mean the year 19th century, 15th. It means as recently as yesterday. When governments go down, when people lose re-election, when people lose their seats, they look at the small things that made them lose their seats, made governments go down. You wonder, how come they were not seeing? That's the common denominator. The fact that those in power rarely see small things, which end up compromising their leadership, which end up removing them from power, sometimes in not so beautiful ways. You wonder, were they not able to see? That's it.
Well and good, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, and of course we've been looking at the aftermath of the survival of impeachment of our agriculture CS Mithika Linturi, and we've been looking at what might actually have led to his survival therein. You can weigh in on this conversation and tell us what you think about what we just discussed here. But of course, stay tuned to some of our programs that are always here, and all these are productions of Nairobi Review. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. My good name is Evans Okenyi. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day.